All right, how about we add a roof to this thing and a ceiling joist? Ceiling joists, I should say. Um, I think I'm going to add the roof first. So I'm going to go back to my first floor plan, and we're going to choose roof by footprint, and I'm going to pick the 4 walls of the exterior walls that I have. And I'm going to start off with a hip roof with a 9/12 pitch. So I'm just going to hit, oh, and I want an overhang of 1 foot. So I'm going to hit, oh, I don't think that applied that overhang. So let's try that again. I'm going to modify, I'm going to click on these 4 sides and put in an overhang of 1 foot. There we go. Then I'm going to just check off the sketch and take a look at what that 3D view looks like from our. Now this can happen. Remember that we started the roof in the first floor plan, so I actually drew the roof on the same level as the first floor plan. Easily fixed. You select the roof object and change its base level to the roof, which makes a lot more sense. So that just pushes the roof in the right direction. Now that roof is set right now to a basic generic 12-inch roof, and I want to change it to a wood rafters 8 inches asphalt shingle insulated. I would encourage you to look up in your span tables and actually see how far that that rafter size can span, and make sure you have the correct size selected. If you find out you need to have, let's say, a 10-inch or a 2x8, a 2x10 rather, or a 2x12-inch rafter, then you can simply edit the type, duplicate it, and you can type in what you're using for a size. Let's go a 2x10 just to make one. And then you do need to edit your structure. So in the edit structure, if I'm using a 2x10 instead of a 2x8, then I've got to change this rafter size to 9.25 inches. And that should update everything. Okay? So I just changed this to a 2x10 instead of the 8-inch rafter with shingles. Now, I don't really like the look of this with the hip roof, so I want to turn it into a gable, let's say. If we select the roof and edit the footprint in our roof plan, we can select the 2 lines on either end and set them to not have a pitch. I also may want to play around with the pitch of the 2 that we're keeping, and instead of using a 9/12 pitch, maybe I want to try an 8 or 6/12 pitch. So I'm going to apply an 8/12 pitch, check off the sketch, and then take a look at my 3D view. I like the looks of this better. So I'm going to keep it. I know that doesn't match our Josephine style that we have here, but that's okay. You can deviate from that if you would like. Let's go back to the Revit file. So I now need to get these walls here to be gable walls, and I also need to create a ceiling joist on the inside. So I want to select my exterior walls that I have here, and I want to attach the walls to the roof. That takes care of my gable on that side. Select the exterior wall on this side and attach that as well to the roof. So now I can see that what the house is going to look like from the outside with the gable walls. But on the inside, I have a whole bunch of walls with nothing above them. Now what normally would be above them, if we look at this section, let's go back to our first floor plan, and I'm going to grab that section and increase its crop window so we can see it. We would see a ceiling joist in here, okay, or a ceiling system. So we have to add a ceiling system to our model, and I would do that in the roof level. So in the roof level, I need to add a ceiling. What type of ceiling? Not a 2x4 acoustical ceiling tile. That doesn't make any sense in a residential application. I want gypsum wallboard and metal stud. Not quite, but close enough. We're going to use this one, and I'm going to edit type and I'm going to duplicate it and rename it gypsum wallboard on 2x6. And then we have to edit the structure. The structure would be gypsum wallboard in residential, would only be a 1/2 inch. And then the metal stud is going to be replaced with a 5.5 inch. I'm going to change the material type here. This may take a few seconds. Okay, so I don't want this to be a metal stud. I want to go down to wood, dimensional lumber. So now I have it wood dimensional lumber. I have it set to 5.5 inches, which is equal to the 2x6 nominal size. And then I've got the 1/2 inch gypsum wallboard. So we've essentially made our own wall system based on the one that we started with. Okay, so that wall system is going to be, let's do the sketch ceiling. We want to sketch it so that it gets attached to this wall, this wall, this one, and this one. And check off. So let's take a look at our section. And oops, our ceiling is way too high. So we need to set our level to the roof. Actually, let's try this. Let's set it to the first floor. And then we need to set our height offset to 9 feet because that's what we have our roof line. And it makes sense to attach the ceiling to the floor so that we understand, the ceiling is being applied to this floor system. So this is a better way to do it than just to set it on the roof level. The other way we can do this is highlight this and get rid of the offset and set it to the roof level and apply that. The advantage of that is if I change my roof level, the ceiling is going to go with it, like this. Let's change it to 10 feet. Boom, goes with it. If I change it back to 9 feet, goes back down. Okay. All right, so now we have our ceiling joist, and we have our pretty much our full section. Now, what we can do here is we can join our walls and our ceilings together. And it looks like it just creates a clean line between those. We can also join our ceilings and our rafters together. And join our ceilings and our walls together. In doing that, if I define this as a coarse, a medium level of information, do you see that it puts the actual ceiling joist component over the wall like it's supposed to be, and it shows that it's being attached to our rafter like it's supposed to be. So this is where our double top plates would go, and that would be the correct configuration for our section. So let's take a look at our 3D model and see how we're doing. Now, one of the things we do need to correct is that wall is overlapping or showing through our gabled end. So I'm going to go back to the roof level, and I want to select that ceiling. Maybe I will do it through the section. And then edit the boundary and look at that in the roof. Okay, so these two walls here need to flip in. Oh, not all of them. Just these need to go in, and in by just a little bit. There we go. We want to line them with the outside face of stud. I'm going to do that on this side as well, and on this side, just to be technically accurate all the way around. Got to get close enough to do it. There we go. Now what that should do for us is it should correct that problem. So let's check it off and take a look at our 3D view. Perfect. Okay. And if we look at our section is still intact as well. And we can see now our ceiling joists are lining up with our outside face of stud.